Well, it's not really time, but I'm early instead of being late. So I just wanted to come in here and make sure that everything was perfect for you, which it's not going to be because I didn't have my microphone. But that's okay. Whew. Let me put something in the chat. Let me put something in the chat. So let me see. I feel it too. I've been feeling like singing. Actually, music is the thing that carries me. And I love talking to myself right now because ain't nobody in here. So I'm just going to edit this out. Just going to edit this out. I'm Kurt. Okay. I put a little red lipstick on for y'all. I hope you appreciate my effort. My baby hairs is late. My low porosity hair is wet. Slightly. I think it's the same. My lighting is, it's weird. I'm literally talking to myself. Just patiently wait until everybody get here. It's like I'm having a party. No. It's like I'm having a party. I'm excited. This is going to be such a good one. Filter face. If you're joining me, say hello. Hey Wanda, how are you? Hey Jada, hey girl. Thanks for joining. Feeling very singy today, so get ready for the Broadway musical, How to Package Your Skills. Thanks so much for coming, Jada, for real. Did you hit subscribe though? I need for you to hit subscribe, Jada, if you haven't already. This distraction. Jada, we're just gonna hang out until other folks show up. Cause I'm early, aka on time. I hope this is better. I don't know that this will be my for real setup because there's other stuff I want to do. Pedal is good for now. I hear you. Oh, yes, I did that last time. Okay, thank you, girl. Thank you. I appreciate you, girl. Every subscriber counts. So I'll probably wait maybe like 5 minutes. So just relax. Also, please, if there are some specific questions you have, let me know what those is and I'll address them because that's what I'm here for. Teresa, Girl, do you know your prayers work? Come on, Teresa. Oh. Not you in this little session. If your prayers work, you don't need to be in this session. Okay. Yep, it's just me and my low porosity with my brown mascara, and I put on a red lip. I put on a red lip the last time, but I don't wear lipstick. And so I I toned it down with like some pink and some brown and stuff, but I was like, you need to be bold. You need to let it do what it does. And yeah, so I just was like putting on that Lady of the Night shade. I don't never wear red. Except for in that photo y'all all see everywhere all the time. I love it when y'all talk nice to each other. So, because I'm usually late, I'm gonna give I'm gonna give people time to get up in here, and then we'll get started. Teresa, I already told Jada if there's something specifically you want to know, please just drop it in the comments and let me know, and I'll address it, and we can talk through it. Thank you, Jada. That boss lady red. It's like real impostery because I don't care nothing about this stuff. I just do it. I do it for y'all. Not construction. Where'd that come from? Don't try to mess up my live. I didn't close one window, so. Who else up in here? We got Jada and Teresa. I know you better cut it out. That's what you best do. I might have to close that window. It is 7 p.m. here. I don't know why you're trying to start trouble. Can y'all hear that? Ugh. How's Toronto today? Weather? It has been a lot more mild, maybe the last couple of days, and it's been really chilly at night. And by chilly, I mean 80 degrees, which doesn't sound cool, but I don't know, that breeze be coming through from the mountains. I think it's 80 degrees. It's like been 20 degrees Celsius, so I think that's the conversion. But yeah, I've been really enjoying it. Milder days. But I'm also really concerned because it's like, well, if it is that chilly in the summer at night, because like my feet were cold, then I'm like, well, what is this winter about to bring? So, but I'm also trying to like relax and not let myself get balled up about something I don't know nothing about, because you know how we do. That's the definition of anxiety, ain't it? You hear it now? Oh. I still be rather on the beach. I heard that. Like a saw, yeah. What you got to cut? It's been quiet all day. What you got to cut right now? Ugh! I might try to close this window real quick, and then we'll get started. Give me a second. Not me crawling into the shop. Who else up in here? Janelle. Hey, Janelle. Hey, girl. How you feeling today? Your hair looks nice. Thank you. How's the water? Is it drinkable? It is not. The water here is not potable. Folks buy the bottles. I guess it's not much of a filter culture yet. So, yeah. I have like one of the water filter things, but I'm also getting like this portable, what are they called? What are the things called that you carry with you that you drink water in? I can't even think of it. Very basic. Most people have them. But anyway, but it is a water filtration system. So I'm gonna try that out and I'll review it for you guys and let you know how it is. But yeah, it is not potable. I was boiling water one time for tea and like you could see on the surface the calcium. There's like white on the top. What y'all saying? You could just run out and get some socks, no worries. Yep. Okay, Teresa. Okay, Teresa. And it's tile floors too, so like there's a part I have done a video, I just need to upload it. You know how I am. I the way that I work is I get some things going and then it just takes me time to get the other stuff going cuz I'm tired. So balcony culture is a big thing here, and in my apartment they enclosed the balcony. So when I go over there like and feel the floor, like you could still feel the heat, from the super hot day. So I'm sure it's the opposite. So the tile is going to be cold. So yes, I do have some socks. I might need to get some, but I'm probably going to have to buy some stuff in order to pad myself from the harshness of winter. So we're gonna get started. Canteen thermos, water bottle. I guess it's just called a water bottle, actually. Okay, y'all. Let me get my notes up. Hi, my name is Wanda, and I am a traveler, in case you don't know me. So, I've been traveling for the last 6 years, and I've been working mostly online. I've done some in person stuff, but I have made it my mission to help other women do the same. And so, I hope that's why you're here, because that's what you want to learn. If you haven't already, could you please hit subscribe and please make sure to comment because I would love to hear your feedback to make sure that I'm hitting on the spots that you came here for me to hit on. And of course, there's some stuff that you don't know, but whatever. We'll do the best we can. So, first and foremost, if you know anything about me, I am going to direct you to yourself. I'm here as a resource, but you literally have all the answers. And so, in order to do that, what I want you to do is to get centered. So, give me a little bit of that. I want you to take just a nice, big, deep breath. Drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, let your tongue flap down from the roof of your mouth. Take a nice breath. Just do a nice, big, deep inhale and exhale. And let yourself be present in this moment. Call back your energy from everything. Call back your energy from everything that happened this morning, everything that happened yesterday, and the 365 days before that, however far back you got to go. But just bring yourself here and now and let yourself relax and breathe and trust yourself that you are going to be receptive to whatever you need to be receptive to in this moment so you can receive what you need to receive in this moment. Just trust that that's going to take place for you. So let's do another big inhale together through the nose. And then exhale also through the nose fully. Letting that all go. And just kind of feel your body where it is right now. If you're sitting or lying, if you're standing, the pressure, the weight of yourself in space and time right now. And see if you could feel the pulsing through your body. So usually the blood is pumping, your heart is beating. Maybe you feel the aliveness of your skin. Can you feel your toes and your fingers? Can you feel your neck? Can you feel your low back? Okay, so now I want you to keep breathing. Deep breathing is something we don't do unless we're told to. So make sure you're being conscious of that. Do some deep breathing. I also want you to think of one thing, and it could be super simple, but you could place your hand on your heart if you want, but think of one thing that you're super grateful for, like super grateful for. So for me, it's been my fan. It's like I'm super grateful for my fan. It makes me cool in the hot times, right? It could be a person, it could be an experience, it could be being able to breathe deeply, unassisted, whatever that is. And just like really be grateful for it. Like, wow, I have this right now and it's easy and it's mine. And I don't have to do nothing special for it. I didn't have to work for it. Like, it's just mine. All right. So I hope that felt good. Let me know if that felt good in the comments, y'all. Woofsaw. Come on, Teresa. Teresa, you always cutting up. I love it. All right. So now that we've done that, that was the first thing. That's always the first step. Anything and everything. The first step is to get inside yourself, right? The second step, if there are steps, the second thing, you have to allow yourself to dream. You have to let yourself know that it is possible for you to create income from your imagination. People have done it before. Maybe even you've done it before. But sitting in the strength of that idea is what's going to allow you to let whatever the next thing is come to you, because you are open to the idea of it happening. And there's no struggle, there's no strife, there's no reaching that's happening. You're receiving, you're allowing yourself to be open to what's coming, right? So allowing yourself to dream, huge, giant. If that resonates with you, I want you to put in the comments, plant the seed of possibility, because that's what you're doing. You're planting the seed of possibility in yourself. I believe in myself. I know that this can work for me. I know that this is for me because I want it. And so because I want it, I can have it. And that's a practice, right? So plant the seed of possibility in the comments for me if that feels good to you. You're the best one to keep going. Thank you, girl. That felt great. I never know I needed that until you walk us through it. Yes, ready for the new ideas. It's important. We be wrapped up, right? The mind is so busy. Our past is so busy. Our future is so busy, but we're hardly ever just right here, right now. And that's where the magic happens every single time. I promise you. Okay, so now that we've centered ourselves, now that we've given ourselves the permission to dream, now we need to recognize our skills. So the gratitude, I think, opens you up because you start to raise your vibration. You start to feel good. And a lot of times what happens is we downplay what it is that we know. We don't think that it is something that we can monetize. And so with that seed of possibility, with that centering yourself, you're allowing yourself to say, there's some stuff I know how to do, and I'm pretty good at it, actually. I might even be expert level. And I know a lot of y'all don't even want to claim that. Like, that is really tough for some Black women to say, I'm an expert, because you feel like you don't know it all. Nobody does, but that doesn't stop anybody else from claiming expert level of something, right? So I didn't tell you to have something to write with or on, but it might be helpful for you to do that to have something to write with or on. And what you're going to do is just take note of the things that are inside of you and have been inside of you. And you're going to give yourself clarity. You're going to give yourself something more concrete. And so skills come in a couple of different ways, probably more than that, but we'll just mention two here: soft and hard. So soft are not as quantifiable, right? Soft skills include communication. So that's being able to listen and speak, right? It's attitude, it's your work ethic, is how you work in a team. It is how you are a leader in the various ways that you're called to be a leader in your life. Time management, decision making, conflict resolution, critical thinking, empathy, problem solving. Those are all soft skills. And it's hard to recognize those in your day to day because a lot of times you just caught up in the doing. It's just like, well, everybody does this. Everybody doesn't do it and they don't do it well, right? So recognize where you shine in those soft skills. Do you have a way that you are able to communicate with people that they get a point fairly quickly? Do you have conflict resolution? Like you used to folks arguing, it's just like, okay, well, what are you saying? Okay, I hear you. And what are you saying? Okay, well, what both of you were saying is this, this, and that, and blah, 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 blah. So this is like, what do y'all think? This is what y'all need to do, kind of thing. Critical thinking, being able to look deeper beyond what is presented to understand the depth of a thing. Can you think of some soft skills that you have? Can you think of in your day to day how you are able to function really? How do you get anything done? You're using your soft skills to get everything done. Are you really good on the page? Like, are you a writer? Are you really good at making space for others? Can people show up and be who they are around you and feel free to express themselves as that? What are these soft skills? If you feel comfortable, please share in the comments. What are some soft skills? You could kind of go through your day even when you wake up. How you get from one moment to the next, how you motivate yourself, how you move through. And even they say like some of the things that you do and you like lose time when you do them. What are some things that you just in it and you're not even aware? You know how sometimes it's like you watching the clock. I mean, I think that's most jobs for most of us, right? You just watching the clock like, is it 5 yet? Ugh. Why am I still here? Versus like all of a sudden it's, 11 p.m. or whatever it is. All of a sudden it's whatever time because you've just been in it. And it's not even necessarily an enjoyment. Maybe you feel alive. You feel alive and you're just in it, whatever that is. You just lose track. Plant the seed of possibility. I love that. Shout out from Japan. What's up, Japan? Hey, traveling shit. That's my homie, Dana. D. Carey. Sorry, I didn't mean to say your government. Loved your interview. Oh, thanks for listening. Soft skills, forethought. Yes. Women, and maybe particularly Black women, we plan the mess out of stuff, right? A lot of times is that trying to keep ourselves safe from the unexpected. And so we plan. Okay, what if this happened? What if that happened? Let me research this. Research. Being able to research, that is a soft skill. Let me research this. Let me research that. Let me figure it out. Let me figure it out. Problem solving for sure. Because if it's one thing Wanda gonna do, is she gonna figure it out, okay? And I'm sure you're the same way too. You're gonna figure it out. You're gonna make a way, right? You're gonna figure out a way. And that's also us. I don't care if I gotta sell popsicles. The candy lady, the candy lady in your neighborhood. I don't care if I gotta sell popsicles. I'm gonna make a way. Problem solving. I need income. How am I gonna make this work? She had some water. She had some Kool-Aid. Okay, a little bit of sugar. Froze it up, served it out. Being able to translate between business and technical. Okay. Problem solving and research. Yes. Writing and problem solving. Yes. Clutch with ideas. Yes. And that is a gift, right? Being able to allow yourself to be creative, to come up with all these ideas. And a lot of times these are things that can't exist in a business structure. And so a lot of times it's like you turn off part of yourself when you go to these jobs, right? Because you're not able to be fully present. But when you do your own thing, like you really get the opportunity to be like, man, I'm gonna do this. This is off the wall. Like I get to pursue, and I've talked about this in other videos. I get to pursue my soul work. I get to pursue the things that excite me. I get to pursue stuff that makes me feel alive. And then you just bouncing off the walls pretty much between taking naps, right? So, I mean, like, there's other stuff that comes with it, but the moments when you are in it and you are, you had an idea, you made it happen, you manifested it, it's amazing. Come on, Alan. I get caught up in introducing myself. Um, I told y'all, Teresa, don't nobody like Teresa. Don't nobody like a I told you so person. But you did tell them though, right? Okay. Okay. So you thought about those soft skills. Maybe you wrote them down. Maybe you put them in your phone, whatever, whatever. Then there's also hard skills, and those are the quantifiable things. It's just like either you know how to use Excel or you don't, right? So, and that comes in different forms. So there's technical, computer, Microsoft, and analytical. I'm not sure how analytical skills are quantifiable, but marketing. So either your marketing efforts are working or they're not. Presentation, was the audience engaged? Blah, 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 blah. You can quantify that. Project management, which that is a lot of entrepreneurship. You are basically managing various projects under the same house, under the same roof. Writing, language, design, certifications. If you in Mexico and you say you know Spanish, right? That's quantifiable. Like how well do you know it? At what level do you know it? So think about some hard skills that you have. Technical, computer, Microsoft, analytical, marketing, presentation, management, project management, writing, language, design, certifications. Think about some of those hard skills. Should have listened to me. Technical for sure, yeah. I find that a lot of Black women tend to be left-brained with the creativity, but there are some that are both left with the creativity and right with the what is analytical. I guess that's what that is. I haven't really met anybody that's a hard right. Analytical. Working on tech certifications now. And also, like, don't get caught up in them certifications. Not necessarily that you don't need them, but a lot of times they're just signaling to the world at large, like, I have a certification in this. So, like, somebody said that I know how to do this. And it's just like, I don't know. If you a doctor, maybe a lawyer, the big, maybe engineering, maybe that stuff is necessary, but largely in the vast world of things that you can do online, you don't need a certification. Like the proof is in the pudding more often than not. They can help, like I said, because of the world we live in. And, if you don't know, I rebel the world that we live in. I don't like it. Yeah. So that signaling of, and then a lot of times the, what are they called? There are companies created in order to make you pay for the certification. So then it's just like, okay, but like I understand having standards and stuff like that, that one has to meet in order to say that they know how to do this thing. But again, if you are effective at doing what you do, I just don't know that the certification is necessary. So, like, do you? What y'all talking about? Business development. That's huge. Digital and tech integration for business growth. Mathematician major. Come on. So I'm very analytical. I always loved math because it was always an answer. Either it was going to work or it wasn't, right? I'm a good writer, but I'm super critical about it. So I tend to make it a project, even if it doesn't have to be. And that's the real tea. And that's why at the beginning of this, we did the centering ourselves. We did our breathing exercises. The second thing we did was give ourselves permission to be creative, to think out of the box. Because what happens is it's almost like a fight between the left and the right. It's a fight between love and fear, right? If the fear is winning, then it's going to encroach on what the love can do. Because in my mind, the things that you create for this online stream of income, for the beginning or the next level of this online business, is created from love. It's created from the very essence of your being. And I think that you are love. I mean, that's what some spiritual texts say anyway. So yeah, it's just an extension of that. And it's embracing that, right? There's so much talking to ourselves that we have to do in order to be present with what it is that we're creating. And it's super important to recognize that as a practice. And I know you know already, Dana, you know yourself in and out. You know yourself in and out. And most of us do. And so, it's just that. You can't be where you can't be until you could be there. So just keep going. Just keep swimming. I told you I was singy today, and you might not have heard that part. What else am I? Coursera is a great way. Many courses are free, true. There's a lot. There's Coursera, there's Skillshare, there's a lot of the universities have free courses that you can take as well. I presented this material as from what you know right now, because sometimes we get caught up in I'm not enough and I need to learn more. And for sure, that is true in some instances. And we will talk about that later on. But again, I don't want you to get too caught up, because like the thing is that anything in the existence of humanity has been created from imagination, from architecture to food and how different food is paired in different places, language itself and how it transforms over time. You have accents everywhere, and accents in different parts of every country, right? Louisiana ain't New York. Louisiana ain't even Georgia. And they touch, don't they? I'm from America, so I'm not really good at geography. But you get the point. The point is that it's all imagination. Even all the rules that people have made over time are from somebody's imagination. They was like, I want this, and so I'm gonna tell everybody to behave like this. And for some reason they were stupid enough to do it. But sorry. But that's the T though. So if you are trying to work within the infrastructure of someone else, like, oh, I need to have a Harvard business degree, or oh, I need to be well connected, which can help, versus you just need to center and ground and create, and you will find what you are going to find in the process of creating. You're going to find yourself, and you're going to find the money. Gray areas are hard for me. I heard that. Precisely why I don't like numbers. um, we do have enough. You are enough. You are enough every day of the week. Every day of the week. You don't need a master's degree. You are enough every day of the week. Somebody may require it, But you know how they move the goalpost anyway. It used to be that a bachelor's was enough. It used to be maybe that an associate's degree was enough. So like just take a step back from the construct of the world and like how people told you everything was supposed to go down. Because that's exactly what we're doing anyway. This is specifically talking about carving your own path. And it's a path that a lot of people have gone down. So, you know, it may not, your specific path may not be well trodden, so to speak. Like, you gonna have some bushes, right? It's not gonna be like well walked on for you specifically, just because you have your own stuff that you got to move up out the way in order to get to what you're getting to. Okay, so we talked about soft skills and hard skills. And I did mention soul work and how the thing that you decide to spend your time doing is an expression of your love. It is an expression of who you are as a human being and the experiences that you came from. I sent out an email. I sent out one every single Sunday just to give you like something dope to think about that day and maybe carry it into your week. And I discussed a lot of things, but over the last few weeks, but that soul work and being able to give yourself the space to express the thing that has always lived inside you, right? So let's get specific. So I've given you maybe some prep work, maybe some ideas. So you've listed some skills. What does that look like in action? So I had a couple of folks. I have a group, if you don't know, Black women, digital nomad entrepreneurs. And this video came from the group. So there were a few ladies who were asking about how to make this a reality, how to make money online, basically, with their skills. So one person said she owns a handmade cloth diaper shop now, and she doesn't want the stress of keeping it open while she moves abroad. So she has a lot of ideas. She's uncertain how to execute any of them. So it's from the way she's worded that, it sounds like she's counted that out when she doesn't necessarily need to because she has an established brand, right? So how that looks is all the skills that she's used to create the brand she already has, right? She could hire people to create those cloth diapers, the handmade cloth diapers, hopefully pay them a fair wage and let the price reflect that. If the business is good, there's not necessarily a reason to shut it down. As long as you can manage possibly a remote team, it depends on where you're going to live as well. But then that is an online business, specifically if it's handmade versus factory, because then you could get into manufacturing and there's a lot of ways to go about that. It depends on your ethics. But the idea is that you don't necessarily have to do it yourself and you don't necessarily have to stop doing that. She didn't mention the other ideas that she wanted to execute, but because she's already created something, she can use a lot of those same skills to create something else if she wanted. Because sometimes, and this is what we have to allow ourselves to do as well, is to let go of stuff when it's time. So if that's not what she's interested in doing anymore, like it's fine to let that go. Even though it's established, whatever the logic says, like she can let that go if she's not into it anymore. So that's an idea, is to figure out another way to keep that going, to give her the income that she wants. Someone else said for her online business, she wants to do virtual yoga classes and pop-up events and workshops while traveling. So she wanted some marketing tips. And should I talk about marketing right now? I'm a hold off on that. I will come back to that for sure. Someone else says she wants to transfer her skills into something she could do virtually. She's a social worker and she mentioned not licensed. And that's also why I've been heavy about this certification thing. So to me, I looked up specifically what a social worker does. Social workers are professionals who aim to enhance overall well-being and help meet basic and complex needs of communities. Excuse me. So that sounds like a coach to me, don't it? That sounds like a consultant to me. It depends on how you want to spin it and who specifically you want to serve. But it sounds like you already have the skills, which again, it seems like a lot of those are soft skills, being able to communicate, being able to problem solve, da, 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 da. Also, some of the hard skills, I guess people management a bit. Maybe you're trying to get somebody to change their behavior. I'm not really sure. Or change a situation for someone, maybe a living situation, so forth and so on. So that sounds like a consultant. So what that looks like is, or a coach, what that looks like is deciding who it is you want to serve and creating stuff for that person or those kinds of people. Someone else said she wants to make money from traveling. She knows, but she doesn't know if that makes any sense. And she wanted some tips. And there's a lot of ways to do that. There's blogging, there's blogging, there's creating group trips. I created a conference, an annual conference for Black women travelers and content creators and digital nomads. There's also, what else can you do with traveling? There's working with tourism boards directly. There's being a travel agent. Like, literally, like, it's just your imagination. I don't know what you're into specifically. So if somebody wants to give me something specific in the comments, I will try and brainstorm a little bit. But it's basically just like you think about what you can do and you think about how that could look in whatever area of interest you have. So the handmade cloth diapers, being a social worker, being into traveler, being into travel, being a traveler, and how those things can look. Yeah. But and so sometimes what happens is because you are maybe a little bit shy, you might not be confident in the fact that you know what you know. If you are heavy on the soft skills, then you may not have been able to quantify that you know what you know. And so you may not place value on that. And the other thing is that what you don't consider valuable, somebody else will. This is the point. And please put this in the comments when you hear this, okay? You know more than someone else, somewhere else. Okay? So you could just put like, I know more than someone else in the comments. Put that in the comments for me to let me know that you get that point. To let that reverberate within yourself, inside yourself. You need to know that you know more than someone else about anything. It could be Excel. It could be yoga. It could be cloth handmade diapers. But you know something more than someone else knows. But because you have been just breathing it, you think it's no big deal. And it is a big deal to someone else. Maybe it's not a big deal to you anymore because you spent the time to learn what it was that you were learning. You spent the energy, you put the brain power into figuring out whatever you have been able to figure out in various areas of your life. And so you have forgotten that you took time to do that. So now you don't value it anymore. It's just like how people think all Black people can dance or all Black people can sing. Everyone has a voice and everybody has a dance, but some find some more attractive than others, right? So if somebody finds what you're doing more attractive, they're going to pay you to cut that corner because everybody doesn't want to spend the time to learn, especially like in, I guess, this kind of culture we're in now. They call it the, quick gratification or whatever, but it's more you being able to help someone speed up their process a little bit. You could even think about it in the reverse. What have you paid for in your life? Have you paid for a community? Have you paid for yoga classes? Have you paid for a certification? You wanted somebody to teach you how to do something so you didn't have to go learn it on your own and you could be certified. So think about that. Think about what you know more than what somebody else knows. D. Carey. I'm gonna start saying I'm from America when I kind of know, but ain't sure. I'm from America. I'm not super sure. Imposter syndrome. Get stuck in execution. Yup. I aspire to be a coach, brick and mortar business. I aspire to coach brick and mortar businesses to pivot their current business models to fit into this digital space. That could look a lot of different ways. I guess it depends on the business. It has to be a business that could translate into the digital world. But yes, some people are stuck on that. There was the survey that people have done about returning to the office, and a lot of people aren't with that because it's gross. Like, oh, I actually don't want to be around y'all. So that could be really cool. I know more than someone else, somewhere else. Come on, Teresa. Alan said businesses who have limited experience or represented their businesses online. Yeah, there's sometimes a huge disconnect with that. That sounds like marketing all day. Okay, so, and this is another thing, and I know how y'all feel about it already because I know something about y'all. And this is like showing your face. I've talked about this before as well. Black women hiding behind their brands. Because you are not stepping out with your real name, with your real face, with your real ideas, your real interests, because of online hazing, specifically geared towards Black women. We all saw Gorilla Glue Lady, Terica Brown, and how she got piled on for making a simple mistake. So I get it. I do. And you're going to have to learn this in your own time, in your own way. But if you don't step out, if you don't show up in your brand, as your brand, I don't know that you will have the experience that you might be looking for. I don't know that you'll have the success that you're looking for, because you are hiding. And by virtue of hiding, you are not showing up. You are not showing up fully. You are not embracing what is there and who you are and your worth in order to be accessible, in order to serve in whatever capacity you're wanting to serve. So take a note on that, okay? Because so your chest, you're going to need all of that, right? You're going to need all of that. You're going to need all of that in order to say, I'm about this, and this is who I want to serve, and I'm really excited to offer this specific thing. And yeah, are you interested? The rejections. You're still going to have to show up with your whole chest, the entire thing. Every square inch of your chest is going to be needed as you step forward, because people know if you are half stepping. It's also going to impact if you half step in the ways that you half step. I'm not going to do video because I don't look like this or that. I'm shy. I'm an introvert, right? Which I think most of us are now that we realize we don't actually need other people. I love y'all. But yeah, no matter what it is, no matter the story you've told yourself about yourself, it's super important that you accept that and move forward. And sometimes that is a process, and sometimes it is an onion, and you are peeling back the layers. I told you, your business is as much about your growth as a person as it is about the growth of the business itself. Okay, so far, let's just recap real quick. The first thing we did was ground ourselves, center ourselves. The second thing we did was to give ourselves permission to dream. The third thing we did was talk about soft and hard skills. And then I tried to give some concrete examples of how you could imagine a world from those soft and hard skills. How you could say, I'm good at this and I'm good at that, so perhaps I should try to do this in this specific area, right? I hope that that's the thread you're weaving for yourself. And then we talked about being able to show up, right? That's not necessarily a thing. I think that's just part of the process. So the fourth bullet point that I have here for you is, now that you have this idea, now that you have equipped yourself to show up with every square inch of the chesticles, I need for you to go find people who are into what you're into. And that could take a lot of poking around. We have ideas about where they would be. And so this is where social media, or unsocial media, as it were, enters the picture. I had a lot of ideas about social media because it was this and it was that, and people are like this and people are like that. But at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, in the middle of the day, it's a tool. And I know you've heard that before. So your social media experience is going to be all about how you use it. I have found it to be so much more satisfying when I stop trying to connect with people personally. When I stopped trying to connect with people in that way, when I instead shifted my focus to showing up who I am in whatever space I am, then that's different. And if somebody wants to connect, then they're going to connect. And you know how social media is as well. A lot of times people scroll. They may be into what you're into. They may dig your whole vibe, your whole scene that you got going on, but they're not going to like, they're not going to share, they're not going to post you in their stories, they're not going to retweet, they're not going to comment, they're not going to say anything. They're not talking to you. They're just absorbing who you are and the energy of who you are, right? Because that's what we do. We often do it ourselves. And if that's not how you show up on social media, well, I guess you're you just different. If you're not showing up like that on social media, it's important to recognize that everybody doesn't use social media how you use social media. Okay? So be aware of how you're using it and make sure you're using it and it's not using you. So that's something that I want to talk about tomorrow, is like, where specifically on social media are you showing up, and is the platform using you? Because usually if a platform is free, you are the product. You and everybody else who uses it is the product, because it wants creators, it wants people with ideas and thoughts and feelings to come through and post so that people can spend more time on the platform so that they can sell ad space to companies, right? That's the business model. That's why you sign up for something and it's free, because you're a part of how they make money. You are eyeballs. So that's why they want you to spend as much time as possible on the platform. So if you are on these platforms, which a lot of times we are, usually out of boredom or maybe wanting to connect, or it's a different version of TV for us, it's entertainment, make sure that you are doing it consciously whenever you are bringing your idea to the world. You may get tired of talking about it and you may think that people are taking notice. And to some extent, yes, on both accounts. That's why you find different ways to talk about it and interesting ways to you. This is also about keeping you alive, right? This is also about you having your own aha moments from continuing to talk about the thing that you love in different ways, or the thing that you're good at in different ways. So showing up, being consistent, having a plan, and seeing who's responding. So that could be Facebook groups. That might be your Facebook page itself, but I don't know that it necessarily happens there, because usually it's just a whole bunch of folks from high school and the jobs that you left a long time ago, and family and friends and stuff, and not necessarily anybody that's going to be into your whole deal. And I will definitely talk about why they don't support you later. But do not expect their support. If you do have that kind of support, consider yourself part of the few, because that's not typically the narrative from what I understand. But be conscious of how you are using social media, and that you are using social media. So that means, again, Facebook groups. That means Twitter. That means Instagram. That means LinkedIn. That means Reddit. That means YouTube. That means Twitch. That means your email list if you have one. And if you haven't started one, you definitely want to get to a place where you get that together, because that is a conversation that I consider that part of social media. I consider that part of being social. So, and what you're doing is you're looking for interest. You're looking for people who are interested in the ideas that you have to share and who you are as a person and how you present those ideas. They say that nothing new is under the sun, but there is something very brand new about you. Very brand new about you, because you are not going to talk about the thing that everybody else is talking about the way that they are talking about it. Right? There are so many people. There are so many. I have a podcast, Black Women Travel Podcast, new episode every single Sunday, right? Ain't none of y'all the same, ever. It's all about travel. Well, more or less. If you've listened to the podcast, I had somebody pull me on that. It's about travel in a way. I get to have the conversation, and I created it from my imagination. I created the entire flow from my imagination. It is it's based in travel, but I get to have the conversations I want to have, the conversations that bring me alive, the conversations I'm interested in having. I'm talking about where you came from. I'm talking about your mama and them. I'm talking about how you made the decisions that you made to show up, how you've been able to show up, and how you keep showing up, how you keep yourself, self-care and so forth. And then, I ask you how you like to travel a little bit. But that's basically the premise of it. And I created it from my imagination because it's something I was interested in. Now, the title is sexy, Black Women Travel Podcast. So if you've never listened, you just don't think it's like the top 5 places to go in 2021. And that's never what it was, and it's never what it's going to be, right? But that is a product that I've created. It's a product at this point, a digital product that I am now able to take to sponsors to say, I have this kind of listenership. This is how much I want to charge you to have access to my listenership. There you go. There it is. So you have to connect with people, but I wasn't going to connect with people until I put that podcast out, right? And I still have some connecting to do, honestly. But you have to put something out there in order for people. You have to be a lighthouse. You have to shine. You have to let people know where you are. You have to let them know the shore is here. You out there in the waters, right, of life. The shore is here. Come to the shore, and I'll give you some firm land to stand on. You might get some soup and a hot drink. but why am I like this? But you're gonna get some light in the darkness. Lighthouses aren't used during the day. They're used at night, right? In the darkness of the soul. So you have to be a lighthouse. You have to, that's why I said every square inch of that chest, you have got to show up and tell people what you are about, what it is you care about. You have to share a little bit of your story as well and your experiences so that they know. And once they know, they're just going to be like, oh, okay, well, I can go to her for this, this, and that. Like, that's what she knows about. That's the lighthouse over there. That's what that's for. That's what that island is for, right? So it takes some testing. And I also want to give you that. You have got to give yourself space to try stuff and to try it for long enough to know whether or not it's going to do it, whether or not it's going to give what it's supposed to have gave. Once or twice is not enough, especially if you're inconsistent with it. But you're not going to be inconsistent because you got your whole chest together, right? You got a plan, and you're not too stuck in the planning that you don't actually do what you said you was going to do, right? Right? Let me check in with y'all. Whew. People decide to do business with us first in our company. They must trust us in order to trust us in business. The show is perfect. Says, thank you, girl. That's what I love about it. You get to the person, you get to who the person is. Thank you, Teresa. So yes, that's the fourth thing is being that lighthouse so that people can connect with you. And maybe that is the shift as well. Instead of being on social media to connect with people, you are showing up so that people can connect to you, right? And part of that connection, like I said, is like telling your story and stuff like that. If you have a product, like if you're selling something, anything, t-shirts or mugs or what have you, people have to identify with who that is in order to buy. At I'm not gonna say at the end of the day. Ooh, I'm black today. What is that about? Ooh, the heart of the matter is that people buy a feeling. And that is also something to consider. If you are so caught up in the specifics of what you're offering with your soft and hard skills, that's cute, but they're really buying into a feeling. And that's all any and every single thing comes down to. How does this make you feel? You buy a toothpaste because you think it's going to make your teeth whiter, or you get Invisalign because you believe that if your teeth are straighter, you will love yourself more, or people will love and accept you more. You buy an iPhone because it is seen as an elite product. It is different than the other stuff, the Nokias that were out on the market, and you were into a special club, right? And so that made you feel a certain way. You like the design of it. It makes you feel a certain way to touch the phone and it respond, and how it's created, the materials it's made of, the design of it. You respond to people because of how they make you feel. If your parents never uplifted you, maybe you are seeking approval from them. And a lot of your decisions in life have come from that approval seeking place because you want a certain feeling to happen between you and those people. And if you don't have that, then you start to feel a certain way about yourself, right? You go to a certain country because of how you think it'll make you feel. You buy socks because of how to make you feel. You buy your favorite food because of how to make you feel. You buy blah, 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 blah because of how it make you feel. How does it? Come on. If that didn't put a lovely image into your head, I don't know what will. And he was selling a feeling too. Music is a feeling. It's about how that music makes you feel. Does it help you to grieve? Does it bring you joy? Does it lift your vibe? Like, everything is a feeling. And so you have to think about the feeling that you're selling as you are considering the soft and hard skills that you are packaging to these people that you are allowing to connect to you. So you have to actually create something. So that's the fifth number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could do that much being from America. You have to create something eventually, right? That can look like an email course where you have an automation set up to send emails over a specific amount of time that take them through an experience that help them to feel however you want them to feel, or however they said they want to feel, right? That can look like a video course. Maybe you do a master class, or maybe you do a package of things teaching your soft and hard skills and showing up as yourself with your personality, with your low porosity hair, your red lip, and your brown mascara. Um, maybe you, maybe it looks like an ebook, writing a book, sharing part of your story, telling them how to do whatever it is they're coming to you to learn how to do. Maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's a YouTube series. Maybe it's da, 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 da. Your imagination should be wide open by now. It can look any and every kind of way, right? Maybe it's design. Maybe you're a designer and you're really good at making things look pretty. So maybe you sell packages to people for social media templates. Sky's the limit. And it's not even that. The star's the limit. The galaxy's the limit. I don't know how far you want me to take it. But there's no limit to what you can create. It all depends on what you want to create, what you want to spend time creating, right? So if you get that, let's see, what can you put in the comments? Girl, I got it. Put that in the comments for me. Girl, I got it. Even if you don't know specifically what you're going to create, go on ahead and put that in the comments for me. But I do want you to think about what you want to create. So you can use this same process. We're live now, but you could, or you're watching the replay, but you could use this same process as you really sit with yourself to think about how you want to create that income stream. You ground yourself. You give yourself permission to dream. You think about your skills, soft and hard. You don't have to think about it that way, but just, again, your soul work, the thing you've always been into, the thing that just comes out of your pores and you can't even help it, but you may not recognize it because you've been doing it from time, right? You've been doing it since you was 5 or since you was 12, like whatever it is. That's the third thing. The fourth thing is showing up on social media with your ideas to allow people to connect to you, to allow people to say, oh, she's about this or she's about that. You could be about other things, right? It doesn't strictly have to be about that all the time, but people know what you're about. And then creating stuff out of that to say, I've had some exchanges. Maybe you've had some exchanges. Maybe you've showed up as knowing this or that, and people have been like, wow, thank you. That's been really perceptive. That's really amazing, whatever, whatever. So you create something for them, and then you show up, you go back. It's a constant, right? Constant communication. You go back and you have to show them what you created. And it's usually, so this is the beginning. It's usually free, right? Or low cost. Free or low cost, and you start to build your funnel. That's what the funnels is all about. Let's not get caught up in the terminology. All you're doing is creating something to get someone's attention, to get someone's currency, whether that's a follow or an email. Emails are more, if you want to rank them, which you should, I believe, because social media can go away at any time. Like you could get locked out of your account and lose everything, right? So, but email is more finite. So email is better social currency than the follows. So you want to get that. You want to give them something to where you get some type of, you start to build a relationship with your intended audience. So what are you creating? How are you inviting them? Because you're using every square inch of your chest. You're inviting them, right? You're giving them plenty of time to opt in. You're giving them plenty of time to be like, hey, I want to show up and like go hang out with her and learn from her and experience this from her. She makes me feel like this because she talks about this in this kind of way, right? So you are creating something. And then from that, you create something more expensive. And then from that, you create an experience. And then from that, I mean, again, the sky's the limit. You could do in-person events, online events. You can do collaborations where, I don't know, like what are they called? Subscription box. I don't know. You can, everything. What else can you do? Yeah, you're just basically like building a pipeline to where it's more sustainable for you. You could create a Patreon. If you are creating content, then you are building a following and you are selling merchandise, maybe. You are creating a membership structure to where you have more specific information that you only share with a small group of people, but they've gotten the free stuff so they know what you're about because you've led them there. It's just like, I don't know, a Hansel and Gretel and leaving the breadcrumbs, right? Maybe the witch's house is the bad analogy, but eventually you want them to get to the witch's house where where it's like the inside club or whatever. So it looks a lot of different ways. And there's this graphic that shows how, I love Issa Rae. There's this graphic that shows how Issa Rae built her empire, and it is an empire. And it all started with one series. It started with her bringing her friends in. Imagine having friends, right? But she had friends who were actually willing to work with her. This blows my mind. Actually willing to work with her, more than likely for free. And they created a series, and then the series led to all this other wonderful stuff. She has a book out. You can write a book. You could be a speaker. Speakers command a lot of fees for various speaking engagements. She has all kind of stuff. I can't even name all of it. A radio station. She had a podcast. She produces stuff for other people. Like, she in there. But it all started from her doing the work and showing up and saying what she was about and connecting with people online and having and letting people connect with her and her face and her real name. You can use a moniker if you want, I guess. But yes, it starts from the beginning, and the beginning is very humble and often low budget and crusty sometimes, and whew, sometimes you gotta show up when it's unfinished and unpolished, and and it may be raggedy for a long time. It may be raggedy for years, and that's actually okay, as long as you continue to show up and you learning what you're supposed to learn, and you're giving what you were supposed to have gave, right? Let me check in on y'all. You said I ain't got it. I'm lost after creation. No. Okay, wait, let me talk about that. Okay, Teresa said, I like the lighthouse analogy. Thinking about connecting with people gives me anxiety, but I'm always happy to help others if they choose to connect to me. You just have to talk yourself through it, because a lot of times the way we're looking at something is what's creating the disconnect. The way we're looking at something is what's creating the disconnect. If you flip the switch to make it more palatable and easier for you, then you'll be able to show up again. And it's again that constant conversation and awareness to know that I'm hesitating because I'm afraid of rejection. I'm hesitating because I've had bad experiences with trying something and nobody listening and nobody paying attention, and social media is so busy, like whatever it is. Having that conversation with yourself so that you can continue to show up. Connecting with people gives me anxiety, but people connecting with you may be a different story. Um, you're helping so much right now. Thank you, girl. How do I get to the people? Excellent question. You get to the people by showing up in every way you can, every possible way you can. That comes with specifically D. Carey showing up on other people's podcasts. I don't know if you've reached out enough or at all. You got to show up. You got to let people interview you. You got your own podcast, show up and let other people interview you. That is getting media coverage, getting in some of these online, what are they called? Online publications, right? Having somebody write about you, you writing about yourself somewhere, right? That comes with aligning with other people's communities and showing up as an expert in other people's communities that are in your industry. That's how you get to people. You get to people by showing up, not just showing up in your own lane, not just showing up doing what you're doing, but allowing other people to take notice of you in a way that's comfortable to you, but some of it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. And again, like speaking engagements and stuff like that, there was so much stuff going on online last year. There'll probably be more stuff. Have you pitched yourself to be the speaker of a conference? Okay, that's how you do it. And this isn't necessary. And Teresa and D. Carey, to bring it back to make this super clear, this isn't even about what people can get from you. This is about how you prove to yourself that you know what you know by showing up. You strengthen in power, you strengthen in confidence, you strengthen in just the the justification of being and knowing, if it needed justification, which it doesn't. But sometimes we have to prove to ourselves, right, in some way, shape, or form. This is all about you. You're doing all of this for you. You're creating the business for you. People are connecting to you for you. You are serving yourself by showing up as yourself. You are honoring, and this is going to be the email for tomorrow. You are honoring yourself by walking in your gifts. That is, and that's why the process, even in the icky parts and the ups and downs, that's why the process in and of itself is the gift. Because step by step, as you put something out, as you show up as yourself, you are ultimately showing yourself, like, I'm here and I'm alive, and like, this is dope. This is an excellent place to be. This is so wonderful. This is so lovely that I get to exist as me finally, without so much infrastructure and rules holding you back. Like, D. Carey, you told me that, you were on my podcast and you told me that HR had got at you, or they had seen the episode, and like, never in my black life would I. I wish you would talk about what I do off the clock. Okay. The audacity. How do I get to the people? You get to the people by being yourself and showing up everywhere. And that's marketing. That's what marketing is. You could pay for a publicist. You could pay for somebody for marketing. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. And I do remember the other lady's question about marketing. So we will specifically talk about that. But I did specifically talk about that. It's by speaking. It is by being a guest. It is by being written about. It is by writing about yourself. It is just by showing up in the various ways where you are leveraging the existing platforms and existing audiences, and knowing that someone in there is gonna dig what you're all about. They're gonna dig what you say. That is marketing. You can, again, stay in your own lane and post on your own feed and continue to show up and offer the free stuff and offer the paid stuff. That's all good. But if you want fresh, if you want new blood, if you want fresh faces, which we'll always want, you have to look at ways to, I guess that's collaboration in a sense, but you have to look at ways to leverage other people's audiences so that more people know what you're about, right? What you's about. You don't feel like you're enrolling folks in their usefulness. What did that mean? I have all of this, but don't feel like I'm enrolling folks in their usefulness. Tell me what you mean by that. It's going to take me a minute to get it. So again, after the creation, you have to market it. So let me look through these comments and then I'll talk about marketing. I heard something this way. Someone in the world is waiting for me to show up with what has been placed in me to share with the world. I should get out of the way and do that thing. Like, it's about you, but it's not really about you. Like it is about you. Right? It's why we feel so miserable when we're stuck in ourselves, because often we are, well, it's just the brain, right? It's rehashing all the bad stuff that happened, all the ways things went left, all the times things went left, and how we're not doing this and we're not doing that, and we shouldn't have ate that, and no, 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 no. We're not often being like, wow, I remember last Sunday when I had this really peaceful, like, we're not. It's so sick, right? The brain is like, brain, get it together. Remember the good times, girl. So that's why it takes consciousness. That's why it takes a practice. That's why it takes awareness to say, let me pull out from my brain, which is just trying to protect me and like not have me repeat these experiences and stuff like that, to remember that that's not all of my existence. All of my existence is not when I got told off when I was 5 years old, when I was 12 and my zipper was undone and everybody laughed at me in the cafeteria. It's not when so-and-so embarrassed me at the club. It's not when I broke up with my best friend because of a misunderstanding. It's not any of those things. Those things are a part of it, but it is, our lives are not the summation of our bad experiences. So that's why it takes the consciousness, the awareness, and the practice to be like, I'm breathing unassisted right now, and a lot of folks died in the last year. Alhamdulillah. Okay. I can afford 3 liters of wine. I actually have three. I have a bottle that is 3 liters large of wine sitting on my counter over there waiting for me so I can decompress after this. That I can afford. I have love inside myself when a lot of people hate themselves and then they show up on social media and try to make you hate yourself too. But I love myself. I have low porosity hair, and I'm sure that's a gift in some kind of way. I don't know why I keep mentioning that. I guess I just figured it out. Like I did the strand test recently. So I guess it's just on my consciousness. But anyway, it takes you pulling out from all the ick to realize that, life is actually pretty balanced. You have some bad stuff that happens, you have some great stuff that happens. A lot of y'all have an American passport, and let me tell you, even though it may be sliding, I don't know where it is, but it's still really good. So, all of that part, thank you for sharing that so much, Ellen. Build it and they will come. Will they though? I kind of believe that, but I don't know. And if you have that belief, it's great to have that awareness. If you have that belief, you may never get to the thing that they will come for. Again, having that frame of mind that you are testing your idea, because if you see it as circles. So one circle is what I like to do. The other circle is what people will pay me to do. And what you're trying to do is squish those two together so that in the middle, you're doing what you like to do and what people will pay you to do. But you will not know that in the process of creating what you're creating, you're going to come to the thing that is the thing. But if you never start, you're never going to get there. You are testing. You are testing yourself, but you are testing what people want from you and what they will pay you for. So if you never start building, they ain't never gonna come because they ain't got nowhere to come to. You ain't no lighthouse. You haven't told them what you're about. So you have to build something. And that might not be what they come from, but in the process of building, you're going to get to what they will come for. So it takes time. So, and this is another thing I wanted to mention before I get to marketing and after I finish these comments. It's a process. It's a process. So in that process, you can Google to the ends of the earth and you will probably be able to stitch together stuff that will work for you. There are some soft skills and some hard skills that you're going to have to learn in order to make the business a business. Do you really want to design your logo? Do you really want to create your own website? Do you want to spend your time learning how to do what it is that you need to do? Or are you in a place where you're able to invest money so that someone can create these things for you so that you can focus on the vision? And it's not necessarily a either or, it's more of a both and. Some things you are going to take the time to learn because some things might be too expensive. But some things you will be able to pay for. And sometimes that's coaching and sometimes that's therapy. Or that is a designer or a someone who builds websites, a programmer. I don't even think you have to be a programmer these days because a lot of these hosts like make it super easy. But anyway, or specifically like coaching to help with your branding or to help with packaging your offer. Maybe you're missing some money on the table because you only see so far, because oftentimes we're only able to see so far just because of our experiences. So you're paying for someone else's expertise that they packaged, right? You know that they do this, that, and the other, and that they can help you because they took the time to go through their own process, right? So you're having them swoop over and give you that high level view of what you have going on and how you can optimize it and how you could make it better. So some stuff free and you're just going to have to spend time. Other stuff, think about paying for. And especially as your business grows, you're definitely going to want to be able to charge what you need to charge to pay people to do more. And that can look like a cook that comes to your home, or like, prepared meals or whatever. That can look like someone who comes to clean your home. That could look a lot of different ways, but as much time, that could look like weekly massages. Okay. That could look like a champagne budget. Okay. You're going to have to allocate your resources so that you are ultimately taking care of yourself, so that you can continue to show up in the business and have the vision. So it's a both and. What can you do yourself? What can you do for free? And who do you need to pay to do this, or that? Because I just don't imagine anyone being able to move. It's just like everybody says, you need someone along the way. You can't do all of this alone. You're going to have to use the skills and the services or the products of someone else in order to achieve what you're trying to achieve. Like, I know that there are some people who focus on getting your maximum amount of exposure when it comes to marketing, instead of like hunting and pecking and trying to figure that out on your own, right? So I'll finish this and I'll get to marketing. I promise you I haven't forgotten. It's like I have a complete meal, but it's all in pots and pans in the kitchen. I need help plating and serving. So if you need the help, maybe it's time for, again, someone with that product or service to come through and help you put all the stuff together so people could eat. Because unless they dipping in the pots and the pans, which don't nobody like that, I don't think, in Black families. Get out my kitchen. Stop thinking about how I'm doing, how I'm going to present it, and show up as my authentic self. And because no one does it the way I do it all day, every day. The more you're in your head in the fear, the less you are in the love of the creation and the love of the being and the love of the sharing, right? I'm not saying there's not going to be haters. I'm sure if Mother Teresa put a video out on YouTube, she's going to have one thumbs down at least, right? It's just, that ain't got nothing to do with you. And it's also like removing yourself from that, right? Think about what it is you're really scared of. So you get a thumbs down, and what? So you get a bad review, and what? I mean, unless you're doing shoddy business, like, some people are not going to like you. And I think that that's something we all have to get used to. I have no idea why no one would love me, but some people don't. But that's not my business. That's not any of our business, right? The cool thing I've noticed about this social media world is that it could pop off when you least expect it. 2020, when everything got quiet except for Black people, a lot of Black people was able to rise to the top with that DEI and whatever. That's what's it called again? Diversity, inclusion, equity, blah, blah, blah. But that's it's purely a timing thing, right? The Black travel movement, whenever someone decided that was big or like a thing versus it always having been a thing, I guess. It's branding, right? It's whatever. Okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It could be perfect for those folks who need it. Yes. Like, come on. Y'all let me show up raggedy. What makes you think somebody won't let you show up raggedy? Okay. The way we're looking at something is creating the disconnect. Huge. Don't do me. Prove to myself. And give yourself the grace again. Honoring yourself, walking in your gifts. That's hot. Teresa, I'm over it. The usefulness. Okay, thank you for coming back to that. Oh, I just lost it. Oh no. Oh no, where did it go? Okay, the usefulness of what I have to offer. Yes, my kitchen analogy. Yes, you probably hit it in the marketing section. Okay, the usefulness of what you have to offer. Brain holding on to that old bad stuff. That's just what it's programmed to do. The brain is just doing what it's supposed to do, and it does it in everybody. It's just trying to keep you safe. It's like, girl, I don't want you to feel bad, so let me think about all this stuff that when you felt bad so that I can try to prevent you. But it doesn't even try to prevent you. Like, it doesn't come up with the plan. Like, you have to be conscious about creating a plan. All it does is just like stir up old stuff. It's just like, ugh. That's why you have got to consciously disconnect. Your brain is not you. Your brain is an organ inside your body that has a specific function. And what you're trying to do is create a working relationship with your brain. I guess this is like if you look in the mirror and it's like the life that is in your eyes. Maybe that's your spirit or your soul, however you want to look at it. But maybe that's the soft skills to your brain's hard skills, right? So you're trying to create that symbiotic relationship where it's like, oh, no, I lost consciousness and I let you just run rampant. And that's why I'm sitting here in a funk. Okay, what were you saying? Okay, well, that's not true. And again, that was fifth grade or that's in the past. Whatever it is, you just counter whatever your brain is thinking so that you can move forward. Otherwise, your brain will have you hemmed up in a corner forever and make you not want to leave the house because it's like if you leave the house, bad things are going to happen. It's like, girl, which we all know they can happen in the house too, but we're not going to go there. Okay, let's keep it light and bright. On a side note, you do a live just about your hair. I will be there because I need the scoop. Your curls are. You see me? You, y'all are hilarious. Yes, hype me up. Thank you. I actually love my hair so much. I had it in locks for what, like 6 years or something. So they was like all down my back and stuff. They was like, but I miss the freeness of this. But yeah. Back to the topic. As a result of your, come on, Teresa. Back to the topic. As a result of your encouragement, I'm going to commit myself to starting my blog this weekend. That's what I love to hear. Start the blog and share the posts and make them shareable so other people can support you. Okay. All right. Good job. Share the link when you, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I love about y'all. Let's uplift each other. Okay. So to the marketing. I talked a little bit about how to spread the message. So I hope y'all got that part. But when it comes to marketing yourself, so let me go back to that comment real quick and remind myself. Okay, so specifically yoga. She said, for my online business, I'd like to do virtual yoga classes and pop-up events, workshops while traveling. I need help marketing tips. Video. And you don't even necessarily have to show your face a whole lot all the time every day, but you need video because every platform under the sun is pushing video, except for maybe Twitter and maybe LinkedIn. But you need video. So you market it by showing yoga flows. You market it by showing yourself being peaceful and meditative. You market it by sharing affirmations. You market it by showing yourself in various locations, showing yourself leading classes. You market it by showing yourself just practicing. Maybe you start a YouTube channel where you invite people to come practice yoga with you and you create a community around that. And you let people know that you want to take your act on the road and you tell them where to be and when to be there. You ask people if you want them to come to your city, to your country, and you create the pop-ups. That's exactly how you do it. You do it by doing it and showing people what it is you're doing. Is there a specific way that you have of creating your yoga sequences that you do? Show that. Show how you put together, and this is another thing that people are very interested in, and I think this harkens, if I may, harkens back to our days of public broadcasting service, PBS, where they showed the factory where the crayons were made. I think a lot of us remember that video because it was the bomb, but people have gotten into showing how they create what they create. And it's really interesting to watch. And I think it gets a lot of watch time, and people find it like soothing to watch people in the process of creation. I logged out from my YouTube so that it wouldn't have an algorithm based on my likes. So like I have like a new fresh feed or whatever. And I discovered so much stuff. I found people creating houses from mud. I don't know if you've ever watched that, but it's the dopest thing. They like, and it's not like with modern construction tools. It's like with sticks. Like, so they're digging the earth up. We're building the earth up and like creating structures, or like they've made swimming pools. They don't have no water hoses. They're just like carrying water. It's really interesting to watch. Some of it is like a time lapse, which is totally fine. I've watched people making candles. I've watched people making soap. I've watched just like lifestyle blog things. Those have been really interesting in the last year, of just people living their everyday lives, watching them make food or make clothes or like whatever it is that they happen to do in their daily life. You may think that you're ordinary, and you probably are, but somebody is going to be interested in that, just because I guess it's a different way to be able to connect with someone, right? And think about the things that you watch, things that you're interested in watching, and how much time you spend watching it. So you invite people into your process, and that's marketing. Marketing is sharing what you do consistently and finding creative ways to share what you do and the different parts of what you do. People sit in on live episodes of stuff like podcasts, or people go to the studios to watch live tapings of some of your favorite shows. I'm going to mention this show and I'm really embarrassed, but what is it? Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Okay, so I'm not that girl, but it fascinates me that these kind of people exist and they say it out loud. Do you know, especially as Black people, I am sorry I'm loud, but I am so excited about this. Imagine what all goes on in this, if it's made up or not. It's wonderful because it's like men and women moving between each other as romantic partners, and then they bringing their kids into it. They throwing shoes, they trying to throw down, they're trying to get music made, but not really. I don't know one artist. Like I said, I haven't watched the show. All I really watch are the reunion shows, but there's like an audience there that watches the reunion show because it's just so interesting. Like, I don't know why it's so interesting, and I try not to watch it too much. I try not to watch it too much because I don't like that energy in my life. Because then I start popping off. And like it's very much that. It's very cringe for me in a lot of ways because it is so degrading, the choices that they make in order to be famous, the parts of themselves that they sell in order to be famous, in order to keep the spotlight on them, and knowing full well how messy and messed up a lot of these relationships are. Whew. It was like, it's two Atlantas, because like, I lived there for a while, and it was just like, I can't believe. But anyway, so yes, live audiences show up because they want to see what the conversation is going to be like. They want to experience that in person. Concerts, you don't just buy the music, you want to go see your favorite artist in person. So there are a lot of different ways that you can show up and show the process of you showing up. And it's about a bandwidth thing as well. Like, how much space do you have to create? Do you have an actual job? And then are you in the place where you were born, or just in your birth country? Because sometimes that can also play a factor in you being able to be fresh and be new and see things differently so that you can move differently, right? Let me see what y'all said. I hate to admit how many hours I spent watching stuff like makeup videos. Yes, I feel like that's what's it called? ASMR, like the relaxing. I love watching Black women do makeup and do hair, and that's just like so soothing to me. It's like, wow, how's she gonna part it? Oh, okay, that's cool. It's so good. D. Carey, you said you remember that crayon video. That's what I'm talking about. It left an impression. Now you know how crayons are made. Like, how is wine made? Like, oh my gosh. I've seen people create tiles, like handmade tiles for flooring. It's so interesting. I don't know why, but it's just like, it's so interesting. I love a good lifestyle vlog. That's what really most of us come to YouTube for. Ooh, child. You hate to cook? Yeah. Shopping hauls, based workout video. Not you watching people, but you know they actually say that. That's a thing. Like you for like professionals, they say by practicing the shot in your head more than the actual physical practicing, you are more likely to create that outcome because you've visualized it. Visualization. People think that that's a game. That's not a game. If you can't see where you're going, it's going to be much harder to get there, let alone recognize it if you stumble through the dark to reach there. It's super important for you to visualize what that looks like. Do you want your name in Forbes? Marketing. How many people do you want to know about what you do? How many followers do you want? How much money do you want to make? Are you really seeing this in your mind? So while we're dreaming, we gave ourselves the permission to dream. Are you giving yourself some concrete metrics? And they could be vanity, but like in a way they do mean something. So yeah, and the most important may be that bank account, right? The dollar amount, right? So visualization is super important for you to be able to reach what you're trying to reach for you to be able to transform your life. You have to know where you're going. Did I cover the marketing? If there's anything that I have not gone into, just let me know, please, in the comments. And I'm happy to explain more. Please don't bring up Love and Hip Hop no more. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. That is my guilty pleasure for real. And I don't do it often. It's probably when I have a little insomnia. So sometimes I'm up in the middle of the night and I'm not supposed to have my phone in my bedroom. But you know, sometimes that happens too. So it's usually on Facebook and you know, they post the videos there or whatever. So they got me. um, and I want to say this, you're not going to know a lot, and that's okay. There's a lot you're not going to go. No, there's a learning curve to what it is that you have to learn. Also, when it comes to marketing, I didn't mention this. Every platform has their own thing. Everybody is so specific about the frequency, about hashtags, about engagement, about the type of media that they give preference to. So usually what the advice is pick one place. I know you want to be everywhere. The advice is to pick one place and rock it, right? Show up somewhere. Figure it's a stepping stone. Figure out what it is. So specifically for Instagram, and I could do a separate joint on this. Specifically for Instagram, they've said that they're prioritizing video, which means are you taking what you're doing and creating a reel, right? Creating a reel. And then I think the preference after that, if you are doing a maybe video, actually, maybe going live or uploading an actual video, that may be the next preference. And then after that, if you are doing a static post, people saving your content, people commenting on your content is going to be given preference over someone liking your content. They're more concerned with in the comments, right? So saving and commenting, I might have said that already. Yeah, save, comment, and maybe not so much the likes for that particular post. because they want people, are they sending it to your stories as well? Sending it to the stories, are they sharing it? Or I guess people can send it to other people. So either to their own story or just sending it somewhere. So I think that is the level of importance. So specifically, that's for Instagram. Hashtags is another thing. I could talk about hashtag strategy and like how to mix it up. Using the same hashtags for every single post is not going to get you where you want to be. That's not how hashtags were designed to be used. So like I could talk about that later at some point. But the point is to pick somewhere where you want to show up and be consistent and have a little bit of a plan and do your research or pay for somebody to teach you how to use it properly. And it's usually it's not all that difficult, honestly. Even for the most left-brained of us, the most creative of us, it's not that hard. I'm a little bit of both, so I can't really claim left, but I don't think it's that hard for you to figure out the specific things that every single post will need in order to get you the engagement and for people to find you organically that you want, so that you don't just have to follow people in order for them to follow you back. They're finding your content because you're using the platform how it was intended to be used, as a discovery kind of thing. If you're doing the right stuff, Instagram wants to show your content because they want to keep people on the platform. So if it's engaging, that's the way it works, right? So that's also if you're staying in your own lane versus using other people's communities. If you're staying in your own lane, then that is something that you'll have to give some attention and focus to, is how you show up on social media and showing up in a way that benefits you the most and learning what that is, right? So you're not going to know everything, and that's okay, but poco a poco. Teresa, you said you wanted to do your blog. You know that Pinterest is a great way to get traffic to your blog. So if you're using a graphic on your blog, you're going to create a graphic for Pinterest that points people to that specific blog. And I think you said you were interested in Pinterest anyway. So it's just like figuring out how to connect that. Again, give yourself the grace to take it step by step and just make sure you have some momentum going and that you don't stop yourself from continuing to show up, right? So I think I've talked about everything. You can also throw everything I said out the window, child. If you have a different way you want to go, that's your way. Maybe you don't want to ever use hashtags on Instagram. That doesn't mean that you can't grow necessarily. I think this is also like an energy thing, right? And an intention thing. I think it helps. It helps if you have support. It helps if you have people that rock with you. I mean, that always helps. Aside from your bottom line. But yeah. But you have the opportunity to create an entirely different infrastructure. It just depends on how much you are letting yourself imagine. I personally have gone back and forth. I told you about like social media. I'm like, I don't want to be on there, this, and that, But once I came to a place where I was able to understand, because like how else? I'm not talking to nobody in their face. As a traveler, like being online, like you have to be online. You have to be able to meet people online where they are. And that's the dope thing about being online, is that a lot of people in a lot of different places can find you and dig what it is that you have to offer. So you have to learn how to use it and be comfortable using it versus it using you. But you have the opportunity to create an entirely different infrastructure. But once you get that base together, I think it's a lot easier to maneuver how you want to maneuver. Because it's like you got to do what you got to. It's like a job interview, right? You show up maybe with some pressed hair and, the good English, the code switching so that you're going to get the job. And then once you get in the door, you taking your foot off. You got a heater at the desk. You got your blanket. You putting your stuff in the fridge, It may be a little bit late some days, but, So Let me see what y'all got to say. I think I'm through. How long I've been? I don't never count how long I be on here. What time did I start? I've been on here 2 hours. I wish I could create short content. That's the other thing about marketing too, is like taking all the content. I'm putting this into practice myself. I know a lot of stuff. I just don't do it because, ugh. But again, it's an ongoing practice. But you always have to take what it is that you do and chop it up. You got to chop it up. Teresa, you doing your blog. You got to take snippets of your blog and share the snippet as you share the post to the full blog, right? Me, I have to chop these videos up, and it's dope that I have video to work with, because then I have a never ending supply of video. But then I have such a backlog. It's been almost 6 years, y'all. So, and I didn't used to post because I felt some type of way about making people jealous back home, which those relationships have fallen apart. So boo-hoo to me. But anyway, D Carey, you got your podcast. You have 100 and how many? Is it 2 now? Was it 250? My goodness. Is it 150? 151? You got so much material. So much material. And I know I don't think that you do, but we got to go back and we got to mine some of that to keep those conversations fresh, to do a flashback Friday, throwback Thursday, whatever it is. So yes, you have to find ways to remix it so that you're not constantly creating, which there's nothing wrong with that because you're showing up. But remixing it also is like an homage to yourself. Like look at little baby me and what baby me was doing. I'm a toddler now. I'm getting bigger. Okay, what y'all been talking about? I struggle if I can't see it in my head. You got to know where you're going. You got to know. I'm realizing how difficult goal setting is for me. I don't know that. I don't know. It can look a lot of different ways. When I was saying put some numbers to it, it's just to have something to aspire to. I know that, so I've been putting together a pitch deck where I've compiled the numbers from the newsletter, from the Facebook group, from the various many pages, Facebook pages, Twitter accounts, Instagram accounts, LinkedIn accounts, to compile the numbers. And this is the second time I'm doing that. So I've seen growth. This is the point. A lot of times you don't recognize the growth because you're just doing the work and you don't realize how much growth in what amount of time. So you're quantifying, you're putting a number to it, you're putting metrics to it so that you know what it is, right? So I don't know that I don't know if that's what you meant by goal setting, but I feel like that's what you meant. But that's the wave, right? The wave is being able to be like, toddler, okay, preteen, okay, teenager, okay, full-blown adult. And again, just like making it palatable to you. If goal setting is intimidating in and of itself because you have a history with goal setting, figure out a way to reword it to where it's just like, D Carey, girl, you know I love you so much. And like, what is it that you want exactly? And like, how can that look? How can I get you what you need, girl? What do you need? How you want to show up? Where you want this thing to go? How can you get paid for what it is that you know? How can you put a price tag on this? On these soft skills, on these hard skills? How can you put a price tag on selling people the feeling that they get by being around someone who's gorgeous and bald and showing up how you do, you know? Yeah. If maybe if you approach it from that soft place, I don't think we're soft with ourselves enough, for real, for real. It's a visual directions. I read the directions for everything, even if I know how to do it. Not you reading the directions for ramen noodles. Please stop. It's that trusting. It's that trusting, maybe. It's like, I'm okay. I know how to do this. I've done this several times. I put a lot of pressure on myself for the podcast, right? Every single week for 2 years has been a lot. D. Carey, I know you can empathize. And so I had to have a conversation with myself at some point because I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to get the next episode edited. And sometimes that would be Sunday, right before it was supposed to air or whatever. But it was just like, you have showed up. Every single week you have showed up. And I trust you to continue to show up. So I am consciously letting you relax and to let go of this needing to do this task because I know that you will do it. And I also know that by letting you relax, you will absolutely do it. Because if I stress myself out, then how am I supposed to do what I need to do? Well, who works well under pressure, like constant pressure? That's PTSD. We don't do that here. We're not recreating those infrastructures here, right? All right. I hate when there are no instructions. I can't wait for you to move abroad. Good luck reading them instructions, girl. You really gonna have to trust yourself. I'm telling you, when the labels are in a whole nother language, Google has this really dope thing in the translation app where you can use the camera to translate. But like, it gets old. You just gonna be standing there forever waiting for it to translate? No. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust that everything is okay. Everything is all right. And you gonna do what needs to be done. You have to trust yourself. And maybe you could look at that a different way to make it seep down into your marrow, but you gotta get there. You've got to get there. Just haven't figured out how to leverage it. Yeah, either you spend time Googling that or you pay somebody to teach you how to do it. But there's so many YouTube videos on how to use Pinterest. I'm sure of it. There's so many blogs on how to use Pinterest. I'm sure of it. It's the same with any and every platform. Any and every platform that has come out, people have understood the best way to optimize. And so if you looking for the free or the low cost, go that route. It might be high cost too, though. I think part of it is not trusting that I'll do it right, that I'll spend wild time to do something and do it wrong. I think it's all from how I experienced doing homework as a kid. Trauma. Okay, trauma. This is homework you give yourself, though, right? Nobody else is grading this. And this is maybe what can help you to bring that idea home for yourself, to trust yourself, is that no, most people don't know. If you think about it, most people aren't looking at you. Not for real. I mean, you're not Beyonce. They're not zooming in on pictures. They're not at the, it's not at the critical mass point where people are hyper focused on every single move that you make because they're obsessed with your success. They're obsessed with your stature. They're obsessed with the parts of your life you don't talk about and you do talk about, and they want to interpret any and everything that comes out of your mouth. You're at a beautiful space in your career, in your journey right now, where you don't have that hyper focus. People are not pressed at all to zoom in to see if your ankles are ashy. You know what I'm saying? To interpret how you look in this picture to say, oh, she was pissed or she was calling her boyfriend or whatever it is. You know, people make up all types of stuff when you show up. That's the other side of it, right? That's the tipping point where everybody got eyes on you. So grace, and you say, you know what? Some people are paying attention, but I bet you they're only paying attention to the really good stuff. And just maybe believing that, even if it's not necessarily true, because the mind, whatever happens in the mind is real. We create entire worlds inside here, and often they're not real. Oh, she probably don't like me because this or that. You don't know if that girl like you or not. Maybe you do in your spirit. Maybe she having an off day. Like, sometimes you just really don't know, you know? So if you just give yourself the benefit of that, the power of the mind, and say, I believe that how I show up, someone is going to be so pleased with. I know my previous experience was contrary to that, but I think the circumstances have changed, and I think I'm able to be more myself, and I know that there's nothing wrong with me. And so I am able to show up and be a little bit sloppy and be a little bit imperfect and stumble on my words. but I believe that someone is going to dig who I am innately, just who I was in the sun, I was watered, I was fed, and this is how I showed up, and they're gonna like my whole deal. Instead of playing into the somebody's gonna criticize me, somebody's not gonna understand me. It happens to everyone. Not to get it twisted, it's happened to you already, but it doesn't have to continue to happen, and you don't have to allow that energy into your space. That's something I'm big about is energy and cultivating a good energy around you and hyping yourself up, not to the point of like having a healthy ego. It's like how you have bacteria in your gut, but it's healthy bacteria. You have to have a healthy ego as well. Bacteria in and of itself isn't necessarily negative because it exists in your body naturally, right? And an ego exists in yourself, but it doesn't necessarily have to be negative. Some people, whatever, take that to another level. But it's good to have a healthy ego. It is good to believe in yourself. It is good to take up space, right? It is good to stretch, and to say, all of this is mine and this is my space to be me, and I'm going to do that. I love myself. I want to honor myself and the things that I have to share. And I just know somebody is going to be into that. And just imagine how you feel versus the other way. Oh, like, your whole posture change, right? Your facial expression, your energy, like everything is just, ugh. So you gotta, every square inch, right? I know these things have happened in the past. I believe that I've grown as a person, and I believe that in my growth, I'm able to show up, and I believe that some people will support that. And I'm really only focused on the people that support it. And lead alone and let that thing fly. Yeah. I ain't started therapy yet, so IDK. I would like to meet the therapist that could crack that. Cause you just so inside. You are so inside, D Carey. Aw, Teresa. That's so lovely. I'm beginning to believe that there's no such thing as wrong. It's just different. It's just different. A lot of times it's just different. Unless it's like child molestation or like, selling weed in your own community or some of that stuff. Like, I just wish didn't happen. It happens. That stuff is also different, but I don't think that's good stuff. But we're not focusing on the not good stuff. So yeah, it's just different. It's just different. Everybody want to make their money in a different way, right? Some people want to get money from sponsorships and big companies versus individuals. That's totally fine. It's just different. Some people want to pay people low wages and keep all the profits. And I think that's every business we've ever known in existence. I don't know that that's the right way, but that is certainly a way for you to build wealth, for you to get to that six figure thing a lot of people are obsessed with, six figure number. It's just different. Thank you so much, Teresa. Truly. It doesn't if it doesn't take off, do it again differently or do something else all day, every day. Wanda, give me your number so I can put you on speed dial. I'm gonna be hitting the road in October. As she angles, yes, ma'am. People zoom in, child. They be zooming in. It's just it's really wild to watch, you know, someone showing up in public and how much is shared, how much is talked about, what's going on, and interpreting the situation. And then you have the stands who are obsessed with this public figure and them bringing up all types of historical data. And my favorite could crush your favorite any day because this and that. Y'all all her sons, whatever. It's amazing how much energy people pour into putting other people on a pedestal versus believing in themselves. I guess maybe it's easier to do, or maybe it's culturally acceptable. But like, I don't want that for you. I want you to believe in yourself and show up as yourself so that you don't have to worship at somebody else's work, because that's all it is. They just did the work and good timing and grace and whatever else it is. But they started building, right? I have to consistently remind myself it ain't about you. It ain't that deep. I mean, it is that deep. Like, you got some stuff inside there. I don't know that you've given yourself the permission to let it go. And that's all of us in some capacity. I don't think you've given yourself permission to let it go so that you can move forward. I told you, especially about the social media thing, that was a big shift for me. I wanted connection, and that is how I would show up. And that's not my experience there. But once I started showing up as myself and allowing people to get into me, then it changed. It changes. And it's so rewarding in and of itself. You know how you have the breakthrough and it's just like, oh, whew, I could let that go and I can embrace this instead. Maybe you give up sugar, or maybe you see social media different. Like, it's a lot of different things. Maybe you finally get on an exercise routine. Wow, this feels really good. I'm glad I gave myself the space to experience this, right? Teresa said, yes, you could be doing a video about how to make millions with just $5, and folks pop up talking about, okay, but why are your teeth crooked though? You got all that money, but you ain't fix your teeth. Black people, boy. Oh, bully culture too. I generally keep it to myself though. I mean, it's all good. So, ladies, if you haven't, can you please take a moment to subscribe? If you have already, thank you so much. And if you just did, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If there was something that I didn't cover deeply enough or whatever, let me know and I'm happy to follow up. Other than that, it's been 48 hours that I've been on this live. I didn't know I had this much to say, my God. But I will see you out in the streets. If you're not in the Facebook group, hit the description. If you're not on my email list, which I'm sending one out tomorrow, hit the description. If you're not listening to the podcast, hit the description. And if you want to connect with me on social, you could do that too. But I love y'all so much. And the creator and the growing person in me honors the creator and the growing person in you. And let's do this together. I'm really excited. You are not alone. Yes, all of that. So y'all have a very good afternoon. Maybe go start something. Go start a fire. And I will see y'all in the internet street.